Today, Tesla has a double shot of good news on the sales front. According to Bloomberg, Hertz has ordered 100,000 Tesla EV electric cars for its fleet and plans to lease them in major US markets and parts of Europe for November. This would mean the most significant order for electric vehicles of all time and a substantial shift for Hertz to rent electric cars. Want to know more about this honest rumour in the market? Watch this video until the end because we will be talking about Hertz's order of 100,000 Teslas amongst the largest EV purchases ever. According to the report, the fleet contract is said to be worth $4.2 billion. It represents about 1/10 of what Tesla can currently produce annually, which may allow Hertz to block additional rentals. He reportedly bought a well-equipped rather than a basic version of the model and paid almost the full list price for each unit. Hertz customers will have access to Tesla's new superchargers, and Hertz is also reportedly building its own charging infrastructure. In the end, Hertz plans to switch almost fully to electric power with its 500,000 fleet. Hertz has also announced plans to install thousands of chargers across its networks to support the growing number of electric vehicles, in addition to a premium and differentiated rental experience for customers renting a Tesla, which includes training drivers on how to use and charge the car. Customers who rent a Tesla Model 3 will also have access to Tesla's supercharging stations, as infrastructure is already under pressure in some places as sales of Tesla electric vehicles soar. On the news, Tesla's shares rose more than 5%, pushing the stock price to $960 shortly after the market opened. Hertz stock also rose 11%. Like other companies in the travel and tourism industry, Hertz has experienced a difficult pandemic. A drop in rentals promoted the company to file for bankruptcy in May of last year. The deal with Tesla comes just 4 months after Hertz emerged from bankruptcy amid a remarkable rebound from the rental car industry. Investment firms Knighthead Capital Management and Centaurus Management bought out Hertz earlier this year. Hence, this is a pretty sharp turnaround for Hertz, given that it went bankrupt in 2020 and did not appear until June this year. It was bought out of bankruptcy by Knighthead Capital Management in distress for $6 billion. However, after a big turnaround in the market, the Bloomberg agency says it is currently valued at $11.6 billion before leafing over to Nasdaq. But that's only half the good news for Tesla. The company's Model 3 was the best-selling car in Europe in September, with approximately 24,600 registered units, which is the first time the electric car has reached the top of the monthly ranking, according to automotive analyst JATO. It is also the first time a car made outside the EU has led a sale. Tesla sales increased 58% from last year, and EV PHEV sales generally increased 23% since 2020. Last month, registrations accounted for 74% of Q3 volume. Since entering the European market, the Model Y has also performed well, securing second place in the BEV rankings. This report is large for Tesla and the EV industry in general, and shows that EV sales in Europe continue to grow. According to JATO, September was an excellent month for Tesla, accounting for 74% of its third quarter volume. Nevertheless, the automotive sector as a whole in Europe and elsewhere has fallen sharply due to a global shortage of chips. Reuters reported that Renault recently said it would purchase at least 300,000 fewer vehicles this year due to a global shortage of semiconductors. The industry has responded well to the pandemic this year, but is now facing new supply chain challenges, said JATO analyst Felipe Munoz. The growing popularity of electric cars is encouraging, but sales are not yet strong enough to offset the large decline seen in other segments. The electrification plan, which will eventually include nearly 500,000 Hertz cars and trucks worldwide, is the company's first major initiative since its June bankruptcy. And it signals that the new owners of Hertz, Knighthead Capital Management and Centaurus Management, intend to shake up the industry dominated by a handful of big players who are usually changing slowly. In addition, Hertz has teamed up with 7-time Super Bowl champion and businessman Tom Brady to demonstrate how he enables fast, hassle-free and more affordable electric car rentals as the company accelerates its commitment to becoming a leader in the future of mobility and travel. Electric vehicles are now mainstream, and only now have we begun to see growing global demand and interest, said Mark Fields, interim CEO of Hertz. The new Hertz will be a pioneer as a mobility company, starting with larger fleets of electric car rentals in North America and a commitment to expand our electric car fleet and provide the best rental and recharging experiences for recreational and corporate customers worldwide. According to Pew, 40% of American consumers today say that they are likely to consider an electric vehicle the next time they are in the market for a new vehicle. Global EV sales have skyrocketed by 200% over the past year and are likely to continue to grow due to global automakers' commitments to increase EV sales. For example, in August, 3 US automakers pledged to increase EV sales to 40 to 50% by 2030. If you've gotten this far, be sure to smash the subscribe button for more awesome content. Growth is driven by the high efficiency of electric vehicles, positive user experience, and climate change benefits, combined with breakthrough batteries and rapidly expanding charging networks. Electric car drivers also benefit from lower maintenance and fuel costs. From early November to the end of the year, customers will be able to rent Tesla Model 3 at Hertz airports and in the vicinity of major US markets and selected cities in Europe. Hertz also installed thousands of chargers throughout its location network. Customers who rent a Tesla Model 3 will have access to 3,000 Tesla charging stations in the US and Europe. Hertz offer premium and differentiated rental of Tesla electric cars. This includes digitalized instructions to teach customers about electric vehicles so they can get them on the road quickly, and soon an accelerated process for booking an electric car rental via the Hertz mobile app. With the current order, electric cars will account for more than 20% of Hertz global vehicle fleet and are expected to be supported by a combination of Level 2 and DC fast charging in approximately 65 markets by the end of 2022 and in more than 100 markets by the end of 2023. Hertz said these ambitions might be influenced by factors beyond Hertz control, such as a lack of semiconductor chips or other limitations. This is a huge win for Tesla and EVs in general. Getting in the seats will speed up the reception. It is interesting to see interim CEO Hertz Mark Fields, who led the leadership here. Fields was expelled from Ford a few years ago, mainly because he did not modernize the company and did not properly prepare for its onslaught of electric cars. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, thanks for watching.